WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Welcome to the Stellar Award-winning WVTC Radio Detroit. We are just so proud to be with you this afternoon. Always good to be with you. Good to be back this week. You know, last week I was a tad under the weather, but thank you, dear Lord. I feel so much better today. You know, he just keeps on blessing. Had the pleasure of having the Wayne County Commission Chair, Alicia Bell, take my spot last week, and I thank you, Madam Chair. Yay, yes, 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 yes. Great job, great job, great job. I'm just really, really especially happy to be with you this afternoon, simply because I just had someone run into me and my car and keep going. it was just such a shock to me that this person did this and kept going. It's really so unfortunate that we have people who do those kinds of things with no regard for others, unfortunately. So, whoever it is, I hope you got where you were going and where you needed to be after having hit my car and destroyed the front part of my car. But there's always something good that happens. There was another young man who was waiting at the intersection to turn where I was coming through and saw the accident because the car pulled around him and came out onto Telegraph and hit my car. And this young man followed me to Franklin Road and along the way stopped to find out if I was okay. That is such a wonderful thing for him to have done. Thank you, young man, for doing that. I appreciate you. One young man did one thing, another one did something else to balance things out. It's a blessing to have people in the world like that who care enough to check to see if I was okay. And I am okay physically. Thank goodness I was not injured. My car has some serious injuries, but thank the Lord, I'm okay. And I appreciate the young man who came up, followed me onto Franklin Road off of Telegraph to make sure that I was okay. So I appreciate that so much. So again, welcome to the Community Bell Show. I'm glad to be here, glad to be with you. Thank you, Lord, for making sure that I was not injured. Thank you. There's a blessing everywhere, and the blessing is I'm not injured. I'm not a happy camper. I'm real upset with whoever this person was who hit my car and kept going and zoomed off. But thank you, Lord. There's something good to come out of everything. I'm okay. I'm okay. So that's the good news. That is the good news. And as we talk about news, let me just share with you the passing of one of my good friends, Mr. Lonnie Bates. Lonnie and I served on the Detroit School Board back in the 80s for a number of years. And Lonnie then became a member of the Detroit City Council. Lonnie Bates passed this past weekend, and we want to send blessings and prayers out to his family. We want to do that and make sure that they are thinking. We're thinking of the blessings to you, his wife, and his daughter. We appreciate Lonnie for the years of service he gave to this city. Another friend of mine, Mr. Bill Lattimore, who is the husband of our new city clerk, Janet, in Southfield, Janet Jackson, who was the previous county commissioner in Oakland County. Mr. Lattimore passed also on the last couple of days. I mean, it's just been an interesting weekend. And I also attended the funeral of one of my TSET golf members, Dr. Sonora Johnson Reed. Her passing, her services and celebration were last Wednesday at the Triumph Church. And Sonora was a very, very special lady. Sonora was the first Black female U.S. board certified female physician in the state, the first one, and the first woman to have her own private practice in Detroit, 1985. And so to Sonora Reed, Johnson Reed, we say to your husband, Larry, and the sons, our prayers are certainly continue to be with you. Sonora was just a good person. She had a wonderful smile, a wonderful personality. Sonora passed, and her celebration was last Wednesday. And so we keep those families in our prayers. We keep them in our prayers and know that God continues to be on the throne. Nothing happens without his approval. So we will continue to keep them in prayer. That is just a blessing to all of us. The good Dr. Sonora Reed. We had a great time on the golf course. She loved to play golf. She loved to read. She was just one of those people who always encouraged others, and we appreciate her. Let me go back now to what's coming up. We know February is African American History Month, and that will be coming up next month. And we've got some special guests lined up for you in February, and you're going to enjoy, I'm sure, all of them. But as we get ready for African American History Month, let's try to make every day African American History Day. You know, we have such a rich history that a month is never long enough. And for those persons who are trying to not let it be the story be told, shame on you. Because there are those persons who don't want the story to be told, who don't want the accomplishments to be told and celebrated, who don't want their children to know the history of what happened to all African American people, and in particular some African American people who were doing great things, who were halted by people who are, and I say that these people are afraid, they're cowards, simply because they don't want the story to be told. They're afraid to have the story told for fear that it will lessen them. Well, telling my story doesn't lessen anyone. You need to tell your story, because my story doesn't change just because you don't want it to be told. My story will always be my story. And it will be a story of rich history of people who have done great things and continue to do great things, just like Sonora Johnson Reed. Our stories will continue to be told. So let's not be so jealous and so afraid of someone hearing the truth that you don't want it to be told. And unfortunately, I do believe that because there are people whose children are asking them questions about the history, they are ashamed, actually, to have the story be told. And that's very, very sad. And so because you don't want the story to be told, you want to take history books out of libraries, not tell the story in schools. That is insane, to be very, to just tell it the way it is. Come on now, that doesn't make sense. You can't change the story just because you don't want somebody to tell it. The story is the story. And it will always be the story. It will always be the story, whether you want it told or not. So get your mind right. Try to fix your mind so that you can accept the story. Now, you may not like it. There are a lot of things I don't like, but I can't change some of those things. And simply because I don't like it does not mean that the story isn't what the story is. So understand that it's important that the story continue to be told. And I am so honored to have our guest today, the Honorable Ken Cyber, Mayor of the City of Southfield. Welcome, Ken.
Welcome.
We're so glad to have you. I'm
Nice to see
good.
you again.
Always glad to have you with us. Always glad. And I'm going to start the story off today. A car just hit and ran my car on Telegraph, 11 and a half mile road.
Oh, I'm sorry that happened in Southfield.
So am I. I'm sorry. I'm still just in shock. I just...
I'll say this, and I'm truly sorry that you experienced this, but we have a problem with distracted drivers. We have regularly people running off the road.
And it isn't just Southfield, it's everywhere.
Exactly.
It's everywhere. But I was stunned. I was just coming down Telegraph, doing my thing on my way to the studio here. And I saw one's car stopped, waiting for traffic to clear so they can come out. Another car came around that car and zoomed down traffic and just hit me. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a combination of distracted driving. It's a and going too fast. There are a lot of people that drive way too fast.
Absolutely. And then didn't stop. Just zoomed off and left. I was just so stunned. But in all of that, as upset as I am about my car being destroyed and all that, the young man who was waiting there followed me onto Franklin Road and stopped to ask if I was okay.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. There are good people in the world.
There are some very good people in the world.
We can't lose sight of that.
Absolutely. And so I said, there's some good people in the world. And that was that helped, that this young man thought enough to follow me along to make sure that I was okay.
Well, I'm sure you've seen this in your travels around, but of course I'm very aware of it in Southfield. because obviously I live here and the role I play, but what we're seeing continually is people running off the road,
Really?
hitting telephone poles, signage. The other day, for the second time, we have a kiosk in front of City Hall.
Mhm.
Uh,
Don't tell me somebody hit the ran into the
they
kiosk.
flattened it, and
Oh my God.
again, I saw the video footage.
Mhm.
They're going way too fast.
Yeah, that's the one
They
thing.
came up on somebody. They're going very, very fast
Mhm.
on Evergreen Road. Came up way too fast. Couldn't make the
You have to
roundabout.
swerve to not
Yeah.
hit the car. Oh.
So the person they came up on fortunately got out of the way,
Mhm.
but this car, because of the speed, went off the road and crashed and bulldozed.
Wow.
But we have,
And that's not right on the street. That's a distance from the
exactly.
roadway.
But it's going too fast.
Yes, people are driving absolutely
Yeah.
much too fast.
Yeah.
As was this car, who
Yeah.
zoomed out, hit me, swerved, and
Yeah. And
kept
sometimes
going.
I watch these people. For instance, I'm on my way home the other day. This car, we're at the light. Car takes off. It's going to get in front of me.
Mhm.
So go ahead.
Yeah, see
you're
ya.
in that much of a hurry. And what happens? He's going so fast that he has to continually brake down the road because there are other people.
Everybody's going regular speed.
And then he's jigging and jagging around them, and but continue. I see a lot of this, and I don't know what to do about it, but I'm sure the other thing that probably annoys you as it does me are these cars that you hear the
Yes, yes.
and I think that's I have a lot of theories about it, but I think it has something to do with testosterone.
You're probably right.
And maybe not enough of it, or compensating.
Or trying to get some, and that's the only way they can figure it out. I tell you, well, again, I've got that. I had to talk about that because I'm still a little bit.
Well,
be all right.
I'm sitting here looking at you, and I would never know. You look fine. For anybody who's listening, there are no cuts or bruises or bandages.
No, thank God. That's the blessing. I've not hurt at all. I won't say the word, but I'm really upset. How's that?
Well, fair enough. Especially when it's not your fault and you're minding your own business.
Yes. It's quite unbelievable. But what the heck? Stuff happens. Welcome again, Mayor. We'll stop talking about that. Let's talk about Southfield. I see Costco's open.
Yes, Costco opened. We had a preview on Wednesday for the DDA board, the planning commission, planning department, some of the department heads, city council, and a few others. And anyhow, the store is phenomenal.
I'm going to have to get over there.
Now it's a business Costco, so there's no gasoline station, there's no deli, there's no clothing other than maybe gloves and some things like that. But there's no bakery. But amazingly, a regular Costco sells about 3,100 different products. The business Costco sells, and this is the exact figure I was told last week, is 2,904.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So it's a little smaller, but you walk around and you can grocery shop there. I mean, I saw many things that I could buy. But if I needed bread, I'd have to buy 2 loaves. Or if I wanted peanut butter, I'd have to buy two jars. But Edna, I saw the largest thing of peanut butter I had. It's a 5-gallon pail of peanut butter. I
butter.
tried to pick this thing up.
So what do you do with the 5-gallon pail of peanut butter?
Well, I guess if
Who buys that?
you're in a cafeteria where you use peanut butter making
Okay.
or
Peanut butter
a bakery.
cookies and whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the other really exciting thing was, so that was Wednesday afternoon, the preview. On Thursday morning at 7 a.m., there was a crowd standing outside the store.
Really?
And we're doing a ribbon cutting. And I kept it as brief as possible, but of course I have to say some good things about Southfield and Costco, and this is the first business Costco in Michigan. There are quite a few on the West Coast. I think the closest one to us is in Chicago. So Costco picked Southfield for this location.
That's great.
And it wasn't an easy process because we started talking to Costco 7 years ago. And it went back and forth. They were also looking at 8 Mile and Greenfield in Oak Park, where the old armory was. So this thing went back and forth. And then there was a change of leadership, and then apparently they put a pause on business Costco's. And then the pandemic. So we've been through all that.
A long time coming, huh?
We're here, and last Thursday morning, the crowd, and as soon as we got done cutting the ribbon, stepped out of the way. This river of people poured into the store, made all the more exciting because Todd Smith, who's the general manager, and I have to tell you a little bit about him. He had all his staff line up on either side of the entrance, and they're cheering, and
nice?
I mean, honestly, it was an exciting moment.
Wow.
The excitement of the staff, these people pouring in to this brand new store.
Wow.
It was just quite something. So just a little bit about the general manager. His name is Todd Smith. He's a Costco veteran. He's been with the company, I think he said 23 years.
Yeah.
But this is his, I think, 12th business Costco.
Oh, my.
So he relocated here from Los Angeles.
Oh, geez. He came from California to Michigan.
Yes, to open this store.
Oh, my. One of the coldest weeks we've had.
Yeah, exactly. And you know when I first met him months ago, I said to him, well, you're about to experience Michigan winter. And of course, he really did in January. No, he told me, I'm really enjoying it.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I think he's serious.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Well.
And he really likes being in the Detroit area, and his family's going to relocate here. He's going to stay here.
Okay.
He said, "No, I'm going to see this store through."
Wow.
And the great news is they at the moment they're starting with 90 employees. 39 of them were transferred in for consistency and training, but they hired 51 people.
Wow. Isn't that
from
a
the
blessing?
community.
Isn't that wonderful?
So we know it'll be a job center. And there were lots of people. The other interesting thing, there were people there that weren't just there to shop. They were to check this out.
Oh, yeah.
I saw several different business people because this store the business Costco caters to restaurants, fast
Oh.
food, to C-stores, small markets, hotels, where they can buy things in bulk and obviously at reasonable prices.
Wow. Well, they're just in time for the what's that coming? The NFL draft.
Yeah,
So they'll be
yeah,
just in time.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so wonderful.
yeah.
I know you're excited.
We
I know
are.
you are so excited.
I have a Costco card
Oh,
that I've had, and I don't use very often because
it's not close.
It's not close. You know, you have to drive either over to Livonia or up to Bloomfield Township, and while it doesn't have everything, there's still a lot you can buy there.
Oh, that is really I'm so glad to hear it. I'm going to have to.
So my first purchases were I bought trash bags.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I needed.
We always need trash bags.
And I bought a thing of batteries. Always need AA batteries, you know, and I forgot what else I bought, but anyhow, household stuff
that you need, you use all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great. That is absolutely great. I passed. I said, "Oh, it's open. It's open. I'm gonna have to stop by one day just to see."
Well, they took out big ads in the free press and news. Coming to Southfield with the Southfield skyline.
Oh boy,
I loved it. And they told me, although they hired 51 people locally, they had hundreds of people apply.
Really? Isn't that great?
Yeah. And they have a very diverse workforce.
And I'm sure competitive salaries, I'm sure.
Costco also has benefits. They do
and
benefits.
That's the good one, yes.
For their people. I think they treat people pretty well, is my understanding.
I've heard that. I've heard that they do well by their employees. And people usually stay. You know, they don't leave there as fast as they do other places.
Well, interestingly, on the wall where you do your returns or, you know, the service counter or get your membership, are pictures of a good half dozen people or more that have been with the company 25 years.
Oh, wow.
That have transferred to this store to help get it off the ground.
That is great.
Another really amazing thing, they have this produce. They have big walk-in. I mean, you walk in with your cart.
Oh, yeah. They have that big area where the greens and the grapes and the eggs and milk and so on.
And it has varying zones of temperature, which I'm not quite sure how that happens, but you definitely needed a coat.
Wow.
Taking your coat through there. And, you know, Edna, if you ever want to have a luau in your backyard, you can buy a whole pig and put on a skewer.
Is that right?
Yeah,
that's interesting because, you know, when one of my daughters, I'm not sure which one, had their open house graduation, 16th birthday, one of those events, we bought one from the Eastern Market at that time that was already prepared with the apple in the mouth and the whole 9 yards. And I haven't seen one since then. And that's
you can buy it at Costco.
40
you
years
can
ago.
buy huge legs of lamb. They do have, you know, a regular Costco has a meat counter and so on. So they don't have that, but they do have, for instance, if you wanted to buy steaks, you'd have to buy a 4-pack.
A lot.
No, actually.
You can get 4?
Yeah. So they do have smaller sizes, but you're not going to buy a steak. And they're pre-cut. They don't really. They don't have a butcher there. I mean, the stuff comes in bulk. They haven't finished getting everything in. There are a few supply chain things. they carry business equipment.
Okay.
And paper products, lots of paper products.
Wow.
A lot of soft drinks, fruit drinks.
In bulk, of course.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. I'm a fan of ice cream, so
oh boy, don't even mention that. That's one of my favorite things.
it's really soothing and healing.
Oh, it is, and I'm going to go home and have some this evening.
After your car accident,
I'm going to need some ice cream this evening.
It takes the edge off. So their ice cream selection is boxes of drumsticks and things like
Creamsicles.
that. They don't. I'm not going to be buying ice cream there. I'll tell you that.
Oh, because it's so much.
And it's a sort of limited selection.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, that's good because that would be my favorite spot to go. Thank goodness I won't have to do that.
Tons of candy.
Oh my.
Pretzels, potato chips. They have all this stuff in quantity
in
that
large
you would,
quantities. This party time.
Yeah, but again, if you have a Costco membership, I'm sure you could find things that wouldn't overwhelm your household.
Wow, I love it. That is, and it's so nice because that takes in that whole northwest part of Detroit also, who really don't have anything like that. They have to go, like you said, north to Livonia or over to somewhere in Macomb County off of Gratiot. There's one, and then of course the one in Bloomship Township. So that's a great. They selected a great spot.
Yeah. Oh, we think so. I mean, it'd be on the corner of Northwestern Highway Lodge and Northland Drive, just above 8 Mile. 1 block north of 8 Mile.
Great spot. I mean, and Southfield, what, a half a mile away, the Southfield Freeway comes in there.
Exactly.
All of that it's right there.
So
that's a great location.
This is this is really what we wanted. We did not want a warehouse. We did not want a factory. We didn't want a logistics center. So
it worked out.
This worked out, and this will be help with the continued development of the former Northland Center.
And so how's that development going? What's going on along Greenfield? I saw those places being built.
The 2 towers are up. People are saying, well, they don't seem to be going very fast. And well, one of the problems that we're having, and I don't want to throw DTE under the bus, but they haven't dropped the power there yet.
Ooh, okay.
The development's going to need a huge amount.
Yeah. Now, talk about what's going there for those who have not seen it before. Talk about before.
Well, it's going to be a city within a city. So the original mall has all been saved. Hudson's building, it'll always be Hudson's to me. It's going to be renamed Hudson City Market.
Oh, I love it.
With food, dining, entertainment, home furnishings, retail, and then a boutique hotel above. The ceilings are 22 foot high, and they've cleaned out the basement, and it's all going to be lit, heated parking underneath the mall. So all of that has been saved. And we're getting closer to starting the construction on the police station there.
Oh, good.
This is a community benefit that Contour Company is providing the city of Southfield.
Now, are those apartments along Greenfield? Is that what those are going to be?
They're 5 stories of apartments and the first floor of retail.
Okay.
Much of the first floor retail has been pre-leased.
Really? That is so nice. I'm so glad to hear that. So this spring, at some point, part of again, I have to go back to power.
The power. It's a struggle to continue to do the interior work without power, especially with shorter days, and you're working in dark corridors and so on. So although they do have generator, it's just not the same as having everything connected. We are told by TTE that they will have all of the connections done by March 16th.
Oh, okay.
So that's been an issue. It's also a lot. Construction slowed on Greenfield when Costco became a reality, and so the construction shifted to the west side of the property, the southwest corner. But now that the store is open, I mean, because it wasn't just building the store. You have all the underground.
The underground stuff is more than the above ground stuff. Yeah.
You know, you're redeveloping a site that had various things on it in years past. So when they were leveling the soils, they found things,
all sorts of things out there.
From who knows, they're not on any map. So
decades ago,
they had to re-level the area. I mean, the Target store had been a part of that area, but that was on a slab. And so originally they had just cleared 4 foot down, but they found stuff predating Northland more than likely. That
something?
Yeah. So that's always the challenge when you're redeveloping a property. But as we've said earlier, the location.
Perfect location.
Yeah.
Perfect location. What about the old Michigan Inn? Is it? What's happening with that? Did that person ever just let it go?
I'm just gonna tell it like I feel it is. It's a slumlord,
and he still hasn't let it go.
Well, we're getting closer.
Oh, good. Good, because that's it would be a great site for something, and to let it sit there, especially when you knew it when it was in its heyday, and to see it now, it's just
it's terrible. So the owner out of town, actually out of country, Montreal.
Wow.
They buy up these properties. They don't have the capital. Why they hold on to them, I don't know, because obviously it's been vacant for 12 years
at
or more?
least, yeah.
And so nothing good has happened there.
No.
Structurally to the building, although the building is sound, but buildings need love and maintenance and so on. So they played games with their taxes. As mayor, I had them in twice to try and make a deal for them. They spent some money on an architect whom I met, how they were going to save the building, put a new skin on it.
And
anyhow, none of this came to fruition. The city of Southfield has a lien on that building.
Wow.
$2 million in unpaid water bills. So that's been a sticking point with the owner, because he feels he should just walk away from that. And we're not going to do that to our customers, that they should be stuck with a slumlord's
debt.
So we have our hooks into that property. So it's finally now gone into bankruptcy.
Okay.
And it's gone from Chapter 11 to Chapter 7. So that's a good thing, because it means that the receiver and the city now has put up fencing, but this is an expense that the city can be reimbursed for.
Well, that's good.
Otherwise, for years, we're doing police runs there.
Mhm.
We're doing code enforcement. Somebody was living in there and started a fire.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
so you have all of this on the city's dime. That's really unfair. And then, of course, you have the blight and the
Mhm.
appearance.
And just the appearance of
And
it.
you don't live here.
Yeah. So you don't
Um,
care.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
last spring, I had a deal worked out for somebody to purchase it. And it was a $5 million purchase price. That's really stretching it
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
the condition of the
Mhm.
building. So we had this deal, this attorney that was representing the Montreal owner. And then when he discovered that he's out of the 5 million, the city
Yeah.
gets its 2 million
Mhm.
first,
Mhm.
the deal collapsed. Because,
So, but he thought
because we want
he was,
5 million
yeah, I
for
want all my
this.
money.
Yeah,
And it isn't worth that.
no.
No, it is not.
And you know, if you don't pay your water bill, everybody else pays it.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and we know what's happened to water rates. They have gone up and up.
Yes.
And
Wow.
part of that is because the system, it's not the water, it's
No,
the
It's
system.
the system.
And the system has been neglected
For so long.
for years.
Mhm.
So we're all paying for
Mhm.
the renewal
Yep.
of the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I did some work with the water department several years ago as a consultant with the company CDM, and we've discovered they still had wooden pipes
Mm-hmm.
under the underground.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just absolutely amazing that there was still one. Some pipes are 100 years old,
Yeah.
and so that's going to take a
Mhm.
lot of money and
Or
time.
yeah, I mean, we've found clay pipes here.
Mhm.
We haven't found any wooden ones, but then we're newer.
Yeah, you knew it.
But we've been on a mission in Southfield to
Mhm.
replace water mains
Mhm.
every year for 4 or 5 years now.
Mhm.
We've been actually since 2015.
Okay.
We've been on a mission to replace water mains. More of that's happening as we speak. It's
Mhm.
actually happening during the winter in the
Mhm.
Washington Heights neighborhood.
Okay. And we've had a pretty mild winter, so they've been
Yeah.
able to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's great. That
Yeah.
is just great. Well, what else is going on in my wonderful Southfield?
well, we have a great multi-jurisdictional project on connectivity for 9 Mile Road.
Mhm.
This city of Hazel Park,
Okay.
Ferndale,
Uh-huh.
Oak Park,
Mhm.
Southfield,
Mhm.
Farmington, and Farmington Hills are all involved in this with support from SEMCOG and Oakland County Parks and Recreation. And so last year a study was completed,
Mhm.
and it's going to be a connectivity corridor.
Okay.
If you've driven, you get a preview of it. Things are happening in Hazel Park.
Mhm.
Ferndale, of course, had a renaissance
Mhm.
25 years ago. But if you look at what's been done in Oak Park the last couple of years between Coolidge and the Ferndale border,
Mhm.
taking a blighted area and putting in a pathway and a trailhead and benches and
Mhm.
swings and exercise equipment and bikes and bioswales to
Yes. Similar to the Joe Louis Greenway
Yeah.
that's going on in Wayne County.
and
Mhm.
this is going to connect to the DeQuinter Cut coming up.
Oh, that's
So
okay. That's going to
This
be
whole trail
wow.
network, it'll go all the way across 9 Mile. We're doing more this year
Mhm.
between 9 Mile, on 9 Mile between Prescott and Lasher.
Mhm.
But it's going to go connect to that trail that's on the edge of 275,
Uh-huh.
which leads to
Wow.
all of these trails in northern Oakland County.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, they're 8 foot
Fantastic.
wide, 10 foot wide. So you can bike on them,
All sorts of good stuff.
rollerblade.
Wow. Well, you have to come back and talk to us about that as that goes along. Okay. What would you like to finally say to our listeners at WVTC Radio Detroit as we wrap up?
Well, be sure to check out our new Costco and drive by Greenfield and see all the progress on the new Northland City Center. That it's going to take a couple of years to complete because it's a huge undertaking. But
and I'm sure you've got people who are chronicling all of that and getting videos of from A to Z, and so that you can show what it was and what it is.
Model apartments are supposed to open late spring.
Oh, that's great.
So
good news. Good
and
news.
Providence Hospital very involved in it because they're a teaching hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So apartments for residents and students.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Bringing more people to Southfield.
Absolutely.
I love it.
City within a city.
City within a city. Thank you so much as always. You always come and bring all sorts of good information to us and talk about all the things that we knew when we were younger.
Yeah.
And now they're something completely different, but that's good. So my grandkids will know it now in their lives as they go along. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you everyone for joining the Community Bell Show and our guest, the Honorable Mayor Ken Ziver of Southfield. Thank you as always for joining us and talking to us about all the good things going on in Southfield. You know, you have to come back every quarter or so to talk to us and let us know how things are progressing.
Give me the invite. I'll be here.
You got it. I love it. Thank you again. We're so glad you could join us. We'll see you next Monday. Community Bell Show, 4:00.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.